Are we
It
live?
was a 6:05. We missed our 3-minute window. It's been 2 weeks and we forgot how everything in this house works. We're a team, okay?
I was here
I've never
on
once
time.
I've never once thrown you under the bus for being late.
Yes, you
Never
have
I ever done that. So we
gosh.
together are late. That's how this works.
I peed like an hour ago. I was fine.
Good for you.
Hi, everyone. We're back. We're still a little loopy from being gone for a week, and we're still kind of in vacation mode, but excited to be here.
It's weird that, we kind of are. I've still gotten a lot of work done this week. Still made a lot of videos.
Well, on Sunday, the Outlaws thing dropped, and you were like, well, back to work.
Yep. All right, I guess vacation's over. But I've just been making sure I'm prioritizing a little bit of time every day to go save the people of Hyrule. I'm finally playing through Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing again. I'm back on my...
Because it's 2020.
Because it's 2020. I'm back on Animal Crossing because he got a new Switch, and I wanted to be able to keep our old island.
Yeah, hold on. It was your idea to get the Switch.
Yeah.
You just said it like I got a new Switch willy-nilly.
Well, you're playing on the new one.
I know.
I accepted the old one.
But you were like, don't you want that OLED? Don't you want a new Switch? And I was like, fine. You talked me into it.
Because I wanted to get back into Animal Crossing. And it's been great so far. It's very relaxing. It's like the thing that I do when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. It's very March. When did it come out? March or April 2020?
I think, yeah.
It's like hardcore
I think it was March.
Lockdown vibes, but in a good way, in like a kind of relaxing way. Anywho, yes, we have our idol here to hang out with us while we build. What's the set called?
The Temple of the Golden Idol.
Temple of the Golden Idol. This thing is heavy.
It is.
It is very heavy. And then I meant to put this out.
I was going to say, don't drop that. You'll break the table.
Oh, yeah. I meant to put this out last live stream. This is my little Pride Star Wars Funko Pop.
That's the Fertility Pridal. This is the Fertility Idol.
Yes, thank you. It's very proud of that joke.
I don't know why. That's like my favorite kind of joke to make, combining two words. I don't know what that's called, but I love
Dad
doing
joke.
it. It's not like a pun. I guess it kind of is, but I don't know.
But how is everyone doing? It's been a while. We had a day with no Q&A, right?
Yeah.
So
that's when we were gone.
That was when we were gone. Filmed this week's Q&A today, and now we're doing this. We're getting back into it, little by little.
I mean, I still made like 8 or 9 videos this week.
Yeah. It's funny that like that for you is chill. It's a chill week. But we went to Yellowstone. We went to the Grand Tetons in Wyoming. Had a nice, relaxing trip out there. It was really cool. We got to see Old Faithful, all the geysers, all the hot springs. Some of those are kind of scary looking back now, because I got a book about death in Yellowstone because someone else got it who was on the trip with us. We went with like a group and some guides, and I was like, ooh, that sounds interesting. And I started reading it the other night, and I was like, this is brutal.
I can't believe they let people walk around.
Literally, I cannot believe that there aren't more railings and fences and stuff up. Like, obviously they want to keep it as natural looking as possible, but those things are scary. You could die in a hot spring if you accidentally fall in, and like there's just these wooden pathways around the basin where you could easily just fall off of one. It's terrifying. Anyways.
I had a great time.
Yeah. I didn't really think about how dangerous it was to be around those things in that area until after we got home and started reading that book. But yeah. Am I going to play through the rest of Survivor? Yes, I am. We were going to do that Tuesday night, but then what did we do? Oh,
we went to food trucks.
We went to
We were going to do that, and then we didn't.
We went to some food trucks. Well, a friend of mine, a very old friend of mine that I don't get to see very often, wanted to go, so we went with them, and it was nice. But yeah, going forward, we need to pick up the pace on that because I want to play through the rest of that game.
That's all you.
I know.
It's a tough game to pick up the pace on though, because like you just get lost. You want to explore. Mm-hmm. You see something, you want to go look at it.
Maybe we could play a little tomorrow.
Maybe. I thought we were going to go to a show tomorrow, but
tomorrow, like during the day, unless Hyrule is in that much trouble.
Look, the Demon King is back. I don't think you understand. Ganondorf is back again. This only happens once every 5 years.
Mm. Oh, Jake said indie trivia today. Hit us with some indie trivia. I mean, we're going to be doing indie trivia over on POV, so
that would be fun.
Maybe save it
if
for
anyone
them.
wants. I mean, I don't think it's going to be good. Like I don't trust my skills in Indiana Jones trivia, especially outside of the movies.
Yeah, I would be garbage.
It would have to be movie trivia only. But I studied up pretty hard for that when it was Schmodown time. I've been talking to some of the friends that we know who went to the premiere last night, and very relieved that everyone is saying that they're enjoying it. So really excited about that. Mm-hmm. Like I've been kind of pushing Indiana Jones 5 out of my head just to not get worked up over it. Mm-hmm. But now that people we know are seeing it and they're like, it's good. I'm like, okay, 2 weeks. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some of these super chats here. First one of the night comes from Chill Spartan 187. The Young Indiana Jones Show Explained video when?
Well, like I said, my trivia knowledge would only be relegated to the films because I'm not well versed in Indiana Jones outside of the movies. I have probably seen an episode or two of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, but I have never watched all of it. And now that it's on Disney Plus, I want to, but I don't think I'm going to watch them all before Indy 5 comes out. Mm-hmm. I'll probably do that at some point. I think it would be fun.
There's so many episodes.
Yeah, and they're long.
I am not...
Like you said, they're each like a movie.
I'm not prepared to watch that much of something that I may or may not enjoy.
I think we give one a try and just see what it's like. Because it is interesting that it was like George Lucas is experimenting with television way back then. And like big budget television.
Yeah. Who plays young Indy?
I don't know the kid, the young Indy. But kinda young Indy is Patrick Flannery. Is that his name?
Oh.
He's one of the Boondock Saints.
Yeah. Okay.
Not Norman Reedus, the other one.
Right. Interesting. Lord Haas, thanks for the next super chat. Are we bringing you to something?
I know that's a play on the normal, are we keeping you from something?
But are we bringing you to something?
Are we being brought somewhere? I don't know.
We're bringing you all on an adventure.
That was cryptic.
To the Temple of the Golden Idol. But it might take a couple weeks for us to get there.
Yeah, I wonder. It's 10 bags. But the bags all seem pretty small. So we'll see. I've been excited to build this since... I think it showed up.
You got it months ago.
Yeah, it showed up while we were in London. I remember that. So it's just been sitting around for like 2 months.
Speaking of Lego sets, did you guys see the Hocus Pocus Lego set? Oh my god, I'm so excited to hopefully get that and have it to build in October. I think it comes out July 1st or 4th?
I think 1st. I made a note of it. Just for you.
More spooky sets! Yeah, that set looks really, really cool. They did such a good job at the inside of the house because we see so much of it in the movie. It's so fun. They even have these 2 little hanging things from the ceiling that the 2 guys get put in, but there's 2 little skeletons in them.
The attention to detail is really cool. The beds in there, the book.
The book.
I was impressed by
the cauldron. You get a little Binks, a little Thackeray Binks.
Which is just a cat.
Yeah.
Just a Lego black cat.
But it's what if it came with one that's like flattened out?
Oh.
That would be morbid. I don't think Lego would do that. Oh my god, only 2.5 months till the start of spooky season.
Time is flying.
I'm ready. Reading about all the death in Yellowstone, I was like, yep, I'm ready for spooky season. Let's go. Apparently at, I forget what it's called, Halloween nights at Universal, they're doing like a Last of Us haunted house situation.
That's cool.
If you want to go, we could do a little sneak away. I'd be down.
I like that.
Austin Wagner, thank you for the next one. New to Star Wars last year. I've seen all the movies, but I'm having trouble getting through Clone Wars. I'm at the end of season 1. Any advice?
Keep going. I mean, I hear you. I feel you. Season 1, I don't know how old you are. Season 1 is a kid's show. It is made for a young audience. You can tell. It's a little silly. You got quite a few Jar Jar adventures. It's not made for adults. But as you keep going over the course of the 7 seasons, it pretty quickly starts to age up with its audience. Mm-hmm. Just hang in there. Like, I'm trying to remember. Season 1 has the episode Rookies in it, which I think is my favorite Season 1 episode. I think it's one of the best episodes of the series. With the more they start to focus on the clones, I really like that. But you're going to get more episodes like that the more you stick with it. By season 3, I think you'll be hooked. Season 3 is when it really, really turns for me into like this is Star Wars that doesn't feel too young to fully enjoy. Mm-hmm. And then by the end, like season 7, the series finale, I'll just say, is one of the best Star Wars things.
Oh, hi, Zach. Zach Burkett's in the chat.
Oh, hey, Zach.
He said, Lair of Grievous, the Kit Fisto episode.
Yeah. Lair of Grievous is a good one. I think that's season 1. But yeah, like, season 1, I remember the first time I watched it being like, I don't know about this. But by season 3, I was like, I know about this, and I'm into it.
Yeah.
The movie is still a struggle for me to watch. We've seen it so many times because of the Schmodown and studying it. Mm-hmm. Like, there's still parts of it that I'm like, I don't really want to watch that again.
It's crazy how long it is, and you get to a point and you're like, oh god, like Padme hasn't even shown up yet.
I would argue it's crazy how short it is and how
long it feels. That's true. Zach said, hi, I'm coming over to play with your indie Lego set. Come on over.
Do it.
Lauren Romo says, I'll be at Walt Disney World in September, and that's when the Last of Us Haunted thing will be in Orlando. So if you go, just saying, might need friends to help me get through it. LOL. Yeah, that sounds really cool. We've never done any of the Halloween nights down there.
Yeah, I think I'd like it.
And we do need to go to Disney World again. I want to go.
Yeah, we haven't been to Disney World since 2018.
I know. We'll be in Orlando for GCX, but that'll be like the second weekend of August, I think.
Yes.
So not quite spooky season for everyone else. If you hear Hilo snoring, he's like right underneath me
Business as usual.
Snoring away. Brian Ferreira, thank you so much for the next super chat. Hi there. Follow up on my Hamilton manuscript. I've been in touch with Travis Sharp, and he has the first 4 songs. He seems cool. Thanks for the suggestion. Any chance you've read some of it yet? Yeah, Travis is awesome.
Yeah, and very musically gifted. For people who don't know, it's a great job, Brian. This is great because we can plug. If you're in the Atlanta area, Dad's Garage is the comedy theater.
It's on your koozie.
Oh yeah, Dad's Garage is the theater where we both took improv lessons. We've been going there since 2007 or so, 2006 maybe.
Long time.
But they're very funny, and they did a show, I think in 2018, called Wicket, which is a musical. It's a play on Wicked, but obviously it's about Ewoks, and it was amazing. It's been going around the country. It was recently in Buffalo, but Dad's Garage is going to do a remount of it in, I want to say July. I think it starts...
Really? Is that soon?
July or August. It ends a little bit after Dragon Con. So, and they're probably going to do like a 6-week run of it.
Oh, God, I'm so excited.
It's an incredible show. If you're in the Atlanta area, you should check it out. But it was written by our friend Travis Sharp, and who's a big Star Wars nerd. And it actually does have like some Hamilton influences to it as well.
Mm-hmm. There's so many great musical numbers, and Palpatine has one of them, and it's hilarious and amazing and so fun. I wonder if Karen's gonna come back and play Wicket.
I hope so.
I hope so too. She was so good as Wicket. But anyways,
it's funny. Like they thought that show, Travis fought to get that show made for years, and the people who run the theater were like, "It's a fun idea," but they just didn't know if it would have enough interest. And like just about every week they had it sold out. So
yeah,
they were like, never mind.
We got to get the nerds in the know that this show is happening, because it is a show for nerds, plain and simple. Like there's so many funny inside jokes and just like funny, like deep cut Star Wars jokes in there. There's Princess Nisa's in it.
Yep.
So you will love it if you are a big Star Wars nerd, or like just a big nerd in general. They do awesome nerdy shows at Dad's. But we'll probably talk about it more when it's actually coming.
Yeah, I should email them and see if they want us to do anything with them. That's like kind of how we've been going there for a long time, but then we started to get to know the people there because of Wicket, and we wanted to help promote it. But to answer your other question, Brian, no, I'm sorry, we have not read it yet.
Johnny C. Books and Comics said, probably no chance the show will still be running during DragonCon, ... Probably not, but...
It might be. It might be going until after DragonCon.
You think so?
It's a nerdy show.
Well, I know they always bring back Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, they're definitely doing that during DragonCon.
They do like a live sort of... it is all improvised Dungeons and Dragons live show, and it's always a good time. Mark Muir comes and DMs, and it's awesome.
I'm gonna find out when Wicket's running. But you can keep on going while I scroll.
Okay. Let's see. The Cosmic Jedi, thanks for the next one.
Okay, sorry. Now I found September 13th is when it starts, so it's going to be like a week after DragonCon.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, the show that they do, I think it's the Friday of DragonCon, which we got to get prepared for that, because we're going to have so many people with us. We'll have Jill and Sean and Chase.
Yeah, I'm really excited for DragonCon. So many people are coming. But this past year, the Dad's Garage did a Thursday show of Dungeons and Dragons with Mark Muir, and then I think they did one at Dragon Con as well.
Yeah, hopefully they'll do on Thursday night again, because like once Friday comes around, it's hard to leave that area.
Yeah.
Anyways, The Cosmic Jedi. I'm gonna read your super chat now. What is your favorite Star Wars book and why? Mine is Light of the Jedi. It introduced me to my favorite era and some of my favorite characters, Avar/Elzar.
That's tough. One favorite, I will say Light of the Jedi is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Same.
I always go to Light of the Jedi, Lost Stars, Alphabet Squadron, Thrawn. Those are just the canon ones. I love the X-Wing books, the original Thrawn trilogy, the Darth Bane trilogy. I'm just trying to run through the favorites off the top of my head.
I always
Darth Plagueis, and then I'll try to pick one.
I always say Lost Stars, and it might still be my choice just because it's like the perfect mashup of Star Wars and like young adult fantasy kind of. But Shadow of the Sith is pretty far up there for me too.
It was a good one.
And Princess and the Scoundrel.
I think right now, and I will admit this is some recency bias, but I still think, oh, and The Rising Storm too. Like Light of the Jedi, I had a lot of hopes and expectations for that book, and it went above and beyond in delivering. So I do have a lot of really happy memories reading Light of the Jedi. And I agree, like,
I think I liked Fallen Star more than that one.
It's funny, like, I liked Fallen Star, but I didn't like it nearly as much as Light of the Jedi or Rising Storm. But, and Midnight Horizon was really good too. Now I'm just scanning.
I liked Black Spire too. I'm a sucker for any of Delilah Dawson's books. I loved Phasma, Black Spire. I'm very excited for this new one.
You should be.
That Alex may or may not have already read.
I finished it yesterday. And I recorded my review today.
I'm like in the middle of another book that I'm determined to finish, but I really want to start that one too. I just need to sit down and read that other one because it's a quick read.
I think for today, I will say that Light of the Jedi is my favorite. Just because I totally agree. I love the High Republic era. I love how it feels. I love how it looks. I'm glad that we have these book characters that also get illustrated in comics, and we've had concept art, and I love the way they've treated the era, and the book itself was such a good introduction, and I'm so excited that Charles Soule is going to write the last High Republic book as well. Like, really psyched for that.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are saying Dark Disciple is their favorite too.
That was my first canon book that I really went all in on. Like, A New Dawn, Tarkin, I enjoyed them. It was fun to have kind of a fresh start for me. Like, I grew up with the Legends books, but going through college, like, I didn't keep up with Star Wars the way I did in high school and middle school. So having a clean slate was appealing to me. Mm-hmm. Reading A New Dawn, I was like, I don't really know who these characters are. Tarkin was good, but it wasn't like, it didn't feel like reading a Legends book to me, even though it was Lucino. It was just very focused. But Dark Disciple, I thought, was so good. And I really like Christy Golden's writing.
Yeah. Is the Leia Princess of Alderaan, is that the book that has the scene with her going to see Tarkin?
Yes. That's a great one.
That's a great scene. Specific scene in a book, at least.
That Tarkin kind of comes to see her family.
Oh, yeah.
If that's okay. And there's also the one with Panaka. Mm-hmm. The Panaka scene in that book is great.
So many good books. Not enough time for me to read. We need to go on more vacations where we just sit and do nothing so that I can sit down and read a book.
I don't think you'd do that.
I read on the beach, but I'll fall asleep
That's what I was
pretty quickly.
getting at.
Anywhere I read, I'll fall asleep fairly quickly. I am cursed to get super sleepy when I read. Darth Nicholas, thank you for the next super chat. Wyoming is one of the most beautiful places I have ever visited. Did you guys have a chance to visit Devil's Tower from Close Encounters of the Third Kind while in Wyoming?
We did not. I did think about it though. Like
we were only there for the last 2 days, and we were kind of with a tour group, a very small tour group.
No, we were in Wyoming just about the whole time.
We were?
Montana, we were in for like a day. Most of Yellowstone is in Wyoming, but still, we were in Yellowstone in the Tetons, and we were like with a specific tour group, and didn't get to. I was wondering / hopeful Devil's Tower was somewhere in there. I don't know where it is even.
Yeah.
But no, we didn't get to see that.
There's probably a million other things in that area that we should go see.
It was beautiful though. Like just having dinner or drinks in the shadow of the Tetons was really cool.
Yeah. The mountains up there are just stunning to look at. Stunning. Queerissant, thank you for the next super chat. Missed the last stream, so happy Pride. Which characters are you most excited to see in Phase 3 of the High Republic? Buryaga, because he's not gone.
Yeah,
He can't
honestly,
be.
that might be the best answer. Buryaga, because we're going to see him again.
He's going to make the biggest, most triumphant comeback in Star Wars history, and everyone's going to lose their minds.
I am
it'll be
interested
great.
to see how they do that, and I believe that they will. Bel Zettifar is the character I was most... That's where my mind jumped first. I really, really like Bel.
Zine and Lula, John Smith in the chat said.
Genuinely, all of them. Like, if you get me started on, like, who's your favorite character in the High Republic? It's just a snowball of, like, I really like this person. Oh, but I really like this one. Oh,
There's
but I
so
also really
many.
like... I love Reith Silas.
Vernestra?
Yeah. Reith is kind of... I think that's how I would be as a Jedi. So I really love him. Ram and their bromance. I love that. It'd be Geode. What's he been
yeah.
up to? Clubbing, I guess.
Stonin.
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 Nice.
Clubbin' and Stonin.
I don't know, like...
Ooh, Leox is a good one.
It would be easier to say people... You know, I can't even do that. I'm like, who do I not want to
Who are
keep
the...
up with? It's like, all of them.
Where's... Sorry, I'm looking at our bookshelf. Midnight Horizon. Who were the characters in that one?
Reith and Ram were the primary characters.
That was an excellent book.
You read that whole one? Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
That is a big one.
I'm always impressed when
Thank you.
Shadow of the Sith was really long. Midnight Horizon's long.
It was hard. It was hard work.
You did it.
It took me forever. I just had to like sit for a whole day, and I have to do that, and I have to just really be into the story. If I get bored more than a couple times, I'll just fall asleep or put it down and never pick it back up. So, and I am easily bored with books, which is unfortunate because it's not that I don't like the story. It's just like it has to really catch my attention, and I at this point I don't really know what it is about the stories that do and what it is about the ones that don't. But I will say this is something that you do like when the books jump around a lot to different locations. And I liked Fallen Star because it stayed in mostly one spot.
That makes sense.
And it could like I don't know, because like as soon as we jump to a different location, I'm like, it's like part of my brain resets.
Yeah, I love books that do that. And I think that comes from growing up with Legends, because you would follow, like, a bunch of the characters would pair off, or maybe they'd all go off in different directions, and you get a Luke chapter, a Leia chapter, a Han chapter, a Chewie chapter, and a Lando chapter, and you would just bounce around between each team and what they were doing. So I really enjoyed that, and that's what the High Republic kind of emulates. It's also very, if you haven't read Charles Soule's other books, I just read Anyone, and it's very similar to Light of the Jedi in the sense that every chapter ends with a cliffhanger. Then you start the next chapter and you're like, oh, crap, it's not about that person, so I have to read this chapter and the next chapter. But then that chapter has a cliffhanger, so it's just a constant, like, it's really hard to put that book down.
See, I feel like that's bullying the reader, and I don't appreciate it.
It kind of is. It kind of, like, I mean, that's why, and I think I'll always have this memory of, I was so excited. Light of the Jedi, we got it in December sometime, like 2 weeks early, and I was like, ooh, I can't wait until the morning. I'm going to start this book. Just read a chapter or two. And then I got a third of the way through the book, and I was like, oh, God.
Brian Ward said in the chat, it's got to be the audiobooks, and I agree.
You really like the audiobooks.
I have to have both. I have to have the physical copy and be listening to the audiobook, because that's just how easily distracted I am when it comes to reading.
It is helpful.
Yeah. I used to be a lot better about just listening to audiobooks and retaining the information, because of when I had like an office job, I could just listen to podcasts and audiobooks all day. But now, just working from home, it's really hard to pay attention to just an audiobook. I have to like force myself to sit down with the actual book too, because if I'm just listening to something, I have to be doing something else.
I am kind of like, I need to have the written part in front of me. It's really helpful. I can read a lot faster if I have the audiobook in my head and I'm reading it, but I'm not going to retain it if I just listen to it.
All right. Moving on. Got the next 2 super chats from Ice. Thank you so much, Ice. Hey guys, hope you had a good trip. You deserve a break. And true to form, when you went on vacation, we got tidbits of Ahsoka promo and Outlaws announcement at the end. Who would have guessed? They also said, convinced they have a big red button at Lucasfilm. Maybe they do. To be honest, the just Ahsoka stuff that dropped, we weren't that worried about. 'Cause was it stuff we had seen in the panel?
There was one shot that I recall being like, that's new. But they also did the release date. That was the big information that I was like, oh, it's an August release date, because I was pretty skeptical they were going to stick to that. Just after Andor and Bad Batch, everything getting pushed by a few weeks.
Yeah. But Outlaws was a fun kind of welcome home announcement, because we got back Friday, like late Friday evening. So by Sunday, we had a little bit of time to decompress. So that was kind of nice to like be able to have something to look forward to and get into for this week.
Ubisoft, I guess, they're new to the Star Wars games, so they saw that we were gone and they were like, oh, I guess we have to scramble and put something together. They didn't quite get it together before we were home. So next time, Ubisoft.
But I liked that they did the announcement, and then the very next day we saw gameplay.
Oh, that was huge. Like, that makes me think that the rumors earlier this year, a couple months ago maybe, that it was going to be a March release date, I'm like, maybe. Like, the fact,
you think March of next year?
That's what the rumors have been saying.
That sounds way too early.
Yeah, I would say that too, but the fact that they showed gameplay, I'm like, okay. Like, it's not just a game announcement. They're like, and also, we're pretty far along.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't play a lot of video games, so to me, the story sounds amazing. I love all the characters already. I'm strangely attracted to that stupid droid.
Everyone's attracted to the droid. He's just a commando droid with a coat on, but everyone's like, that droid though.
The coat gives him kind of like a muscular figure somehow, and then his voice is kind of sexy too. I don't know how to feel about it yet.
I want to see customization for that droid where you can just like take the coat off but put like a top hat on and see,
a little
let's
party
see
hat.
How sexy can we make this droid?
Yeah, Jill thinks the droid is hot too.
Everyone
I think
thinks
the
the
whole
droid's
internet thinks the droid is hot.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I just think it's crazy that like the internet will get thirsty over anything
Hey,
and anyone. And I'm not kink shaming.
Star Wars fans, we have the higher public, but it's all on paper and words. We need something to visualize.
Look, if that droid could somehow grow a mustache, I'd never shut up about
Maybe
it.
that'll be part of the customization. Put a little...
So I get it.
What was I saying? Oh, the gameplay. First of all, because I'm such a novice game player, the interface and everything about it made me think, wow, this looks like a real game. There's just a lot of stuff on the screen that I don't recognize and that I wouldn't know what to do with. I don't know why.
I don't know, just because I look at everything, I'm like, this all makes sense to me. Like, there's your health bar, there's your repair bar, there's the ship's shields. It's just, you need to play more games so that, this stuff will become second nature.
So there was that. But then also, strangely, I was like, this looks kind of clunky.
Well, I don't think it's fully polished.
Yeah, I know it's not.
And I kind of agree with you. There was something about it that just, the animations didn't feel done. They didn't feel as fluid as, Cal doing that wall run and then the spin that he does when he gets off of it. Little flair, little stuff like that you can add on. It adds so much. And they're still months and months away, so I think that they have a really, really good base foundation for them to build off of.
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried about it. I just was, having a hard time following it, I guess. But the story sounds cool. Kay seems like a really cool main character. I'm excited that we have a female main character in the games now. I was gonna say something else and I forgot. But yeah, I'm super excited for it.
Oh, this looks hard.
I love Nyx, and the fact that you can send Nyx off to do little things, and
I loved that.
They said in something else I was watching the other day that it'll go pick up a gun for you if you want it, and don't want to reveal your presence in that area. It'll just skitter over and get it for you. I was like, that's so cool.
I thought the gameplay looked really neat. Oh, I'm so glad. I've talked about this on my breakdown, but just the stealth element, that's the one criticism I have of Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order. I'm like, I love the attempt to try to get through an encounter without tipping everyone off. And I'm so bad at it. If I get through a scene in The Last of Us without alerting anyone, it's the biggest victory for me. But I that little added anticipation of oh God, don't turn around, please don't turn around. I love that in video games.
Bachelor's Fridge has the next super chat. Indiana Jones Star Wars crossover in a very hypothetical world. What would that look like? I guess just a Dr. Aphra, right? Speaking of which, when are we getting that movie? Haha. So we talk about this a little bit in the Q&A. Not in a movie, but we were speaking of Outlaws, we were Dr. Aphra could be in Outlaws. That would be fun.
Or just in general, when is Dr. Aphra going to get some more space to shine?
Yeah.
I hope that happens. Where am I? So there is a non-canon, even when it was a Legends comic, but even then it's not canon. There's a story about Han Solo and Chewbacca like crash landing on Earth, basically, and then Han dies, and then Chewbacca protects his body, and basically is Bigfoot. Like that's where the Bigfoot legend comes from. But there's a comic where Indiana Jones and Short Round go into a jungle and
find Bigfoot.
Yeah,
AKA
they don't see him.
A very sad Chewie protecting
they
the dead body of Han Solo.
They don't encounter him. It's just
that's so sad.
I know. It's not real. It's not even in the Star Wars universe. It's not real.
That is depressing, though. It's interesting, though.
Dr. Aphra, I keep arguing that obviously Dr. Aphra has Indiana Jones influences, but I think she's more Belloc than Indy because she wants to take artifacts and
herself.
Use them. Yeah, she's selfish.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true.
I do. She's younger Indy who wants fortune and glory.
Yeah. So, and for that reason, I don't think Aphra would ever get her own movie or show, but she could be a main character in something else.
A side character?
Yeah. I mean, a main character maybe, but like...
I don't know.
Not the title character.
I think she could do it. Like, the comics still... Like, Han Solo is selfish when he starts, as long as she ends in a better place.
That's true, yeah. We don't know... How far along have we seen her story in the timeline?
Like, what do you mean?
Where is she recent? Right now? Yeah.
She's in between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, so prime real estate for her to be in Outlaws. JLC's Obligations. Thanks for the next one. I never heard your guys' opinion on this. What is the best Indiana Jones film? I want both your opinions. The best one.
You want to go first?
I guess.
Who goes first?
I think Raiders and I'm a very casual indie fan. I like the movies a lot, but gosh, I think I've only seen Temple of Doom 2 or 3 times. Last Crusade I like a lot too, but I think it's hard to beat Raiders.
Well, you were saying that you don't really remember Last Crusade much.
I mean, I remember more of it than Temple of Doom.
Sure.
And I like the ghost.
It's not a ghost.
He's a ghost to me. The old man at the end. He's a creepy ghost.
Spooky ghost. I am definitely missing something, as usual. Raiders is my favorite as well. I fully respect and understand anyone who would argue for Last Crusade, though.
I am seeing a lot of people put Last Crusade. I will say Sean Connery is hilarious in that with his little umbrella.
A blast. Like, I do really, really love Last Crusade. What is wrong? Oh, that's what's wrong. Oh, damn it. I didn't have to do that. Last Crusade, I actually do think Last Crusade is the movie that has the best arc for Indy. Like, the most clear-cut, this is his journey, this is how he changes. But Raiders, I think, is just... It doesn't feel like it's a 2 and however long hour movie. Mm-hmm. It flies by. I think it's structured so well. It's so fun. All the characters are great.
I love Karen Allen in that movie too.
Marion's awesome. If you haven't heard the soundtrack show episode on Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's fantastic and talks about how Marion and Leia's themes are so similar.
Mm-hmm. Very, very similar.
It's cool.
Okay, moving on. We've got the next super chat from Darth Nicholas. Do you think Lucasfilm will still keep James Mangold for Dawn of the Jedi if Indy 5's final critical reception from both critics and fans is still disappointing? Or do you think they'll replace him? I think they'll keep him, and I think the bad reviews that Indy 5 is getting are from the snobs.
Like I said, I've been talking today with friends who got to go to the indie premiere. They saw it last night. I have yet to hear anyone say that it was bad. Just hearing that it was super fun. I think I don't even want to say it was a tepid response, but the least enthusiastic response was still a good one. It was from Jermaine, who writes for IO9, and he was like, it's such a fun movie. It's an Indiana Jones movie through and through. The biggest downside to it is that we're not seeing it when we're 13. Like, we don't have that nostalgia level, I get. Like, there's just something about when you're watching movies when you're younger that they hit different.
Yeah.
But
And
he was like, it's not the best movie of all time, but it's a really, really fun movie.
because when you're 13, a lot of things blow your mind away, and you're just like completely 100% obsessed with things. As an adult, you're much more jaded, and you're like, this is long, this is over the top, this is that. It's like you're just not going to enjoy movies the same way as you did when you were little. So when you're talking about the same franchise, whether it be Indy or Star Wars or whatever, you're watching it with a set of new eyes almost, and it's just gonna feel different, and not always in a good way.
Yeah, it's like certain franchises have a little more more expectations, I guess. I'll be like, my expectations for Indy 5, I'm not expecting it to blow me away. I just want to have a fun adventure for a little while. But I'm hearing people say that it is more than just a fun adventure, that it's very deep. It's got a lot to say about, like, I'm not sure if I don't want to say who told me, but I'm like quoting someone directly. Mm-hmm. And if you're watching, you know who you are, but like, I don't know if this stuff is under embargo or not, but they said that it was just very...
Everyone's non-spoiler indie reviews came out today.
Okay.
Or at least Dan Merles did.
Okay. Ken Knapsack said that it was like really deep on top of being a really great adventure. And so that's great, but I'm just psyched for another indie movie. And I said before that, you know, if they made like 8 more Indiana Jones movies in between Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and now, and they were all like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where I'm like, I don't hate it, but it doesn't do much for me. Mm-hmm. I would still be excited for one more adventure. I just like indie. So, but we got way off track on the actual question.
Would you compare the Indiana Jones movies to the Fast and the Furious franchise?
No. I see what you're getting at. Where I do enjoy watching the Fast and Furious movies. I see them once, and then I'm like, okay, that was good enough. Mm-hmm. Like, I do enjoy watching that crew do crazy things with cars.
I'm just trying to think of another franchise to compare this to, where we got the first 3 so long ago, then we got 4, and everybody crapped all over it and was like, ugh, okay, this sucks. And now we're getting another one, which is going to be the last of, like, Harrison Ford as Indy, I assume.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think of another franchise to compare it to besides Star Wars.
I don't know. But, I thought you were, and maybe you are, getting at this idea that, look, I did not like Fast 9.
I haven't seen most of the Fast movies, so don't come after me in the chat. I don't know. I just know that people are obsessed with those movies.
So, I did not like Fast 9. I still want to see Fast 10. I haven't yet, but I'll see it. I've heard Jason Momoa's performance is bonkers, and I'm like, great.
Why not add another big old buff dude in there?
Please.
They all are
Please.
starting to blend together for me.
So, but yeah, like,
maybe the Rocky movies, someone said.
That's true. Yeah, we had Rocky 5 was not good, and then Rocky 6 came along, and I thought it was good. And then the Creed movies have been... I've only seen the first Creed movie, but they've been well received.
Yeah. I think the third one's out to stream.
I'm trying to get back to... Was it Ice that asked this question? Let's just throw all of our own expectations and thoughts away.
Darth Nicholas.
Darth Nicholas, okay. If it is critically panned and it doesn't perform well in the box office, will they drop Mangold? I hope not, because I just don't like...
Oh, Terminator is a good one too. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't like the reactionary thing that happens in film sometimes. It does. Like, I think there's a genuine reason that you're suggesting this. I don't want it to happen because the Dawn of the Jedi film was his pitch. I also hate when people act like you're only as good as the last thing you made. People treat Taika Waititi that way. Like, he could do no wrong. Everyone loved him. And then Love and Thunder came out and everyone's like, he's the worst thing that's ever happened. And it's like, he's made so many good movies, and so has James Mangold. Everyone puts out a stinker every once in a while. Steven Spielberg has not hit all home runs. Does that mean I never want him to make another movie again? No. Like, well,
and also I think a lot of people think that Disney is willing to drop someone from a project the minute they screw something up. But even if Indy comes out with just middle of the road reviews as an average, it's still going to be a huge hit. Think of all the people that are going to go see it.
I mean, I hope. Indy is not as big as Star Wars, but it is a big franchise. Like, I think it's going to do well. And I've been really, really happy hearing from people today of just like, I have yet to hear anyone say like, it was all right. Everyone's just like, this is what I wanted.
Right. All right, we got to move on before we get too far behind. Christopher Killian, thank you for the next super chat. Hi, what is your best guess as to what Thrawn and Ezra have been up to all these years? Are they still enemies or perhaps allies? What do you think? So I hope they're bros, and they've both gotten really good at like badminton or something over this whole time. Something weird.
I do love a good, like, enemies to best friends scenario.
Me too. I want them to come out of this, maybe not friends, but I want Ezra to come out of this understanding Thrawn as a person a little bit more.
That'd be interesting.
Because that would be such a cool dynamic to put in the show where everybody's assuming Thrawn is the big bad, which I'm sure he still is.
I think he will be.
He still will be, but to have a character like Ezra, a Jedi, come back into the picture and defend him would be really interesting.
I'm not expecting that, but I like it. I think that they probably have not been getting along. I'm wondering if Thrawn, like, the fact that Thrawn is back and people are hunting for Ezra, to me it sounds like they're separated. Or maybe Thrawn has Ezra imprisoned. But like, that would be really cool if they were fighting.
Thrawn is not going to be the big bad. I'm saying, what if Ezra gets like Stockholm syndrome with him, and they just start to understand each other a little bit, because it's been 10 years. They spent 10 years together.
That's what I'm wondering, if they have been together this whole time, or if Thrawn just ditched him somewhere. But if he did that, why not just kill him? Like,
right.
There's a lot of questions, and I'm curious about it. And I do think it would be interesting if Ahsoka and Sabine and Hera are fighting tooth and nail to find Thrawn and rescue Ezra. And he's like, he's low-key pretty cool. And they're like, wait.
Yeah. So for me, that would be an ideal story for me. Do I think Disney is going to do that? Probably not.
I don't know. I could
I
see
just like
I
when-
could see Dave Filoni twisting that knife a little bit, and I think Ezra would come out of the Stockholm syndrome or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that would be an interesting starting point.
I'm a sucker for when things get really complicated and relationships
Yeah.
start to flip and all that, but I think for what we're headed towards in Filoni's movie, we have to have Thrawn as like the big bad guy. But that's boring to me. Make him interesting, not just bad.
What did I do wrong this time?
Darth Nicholas has the next one here. Do you know the Clone Wars movie has a novelization written by none other than Karen Traviss of the RC series?
Republic Commando.
Republic Commando series.
I did not know that.
Have you read it, and do you recommend it? I hear it's pretty solid, unlike the actual movie. Did not know that existed. Alex is in deep
Sorry,
thought
I'm like,
with the Lego set.
I've messed something up. There it is. I see it. Fixed it. Okay. So did they say it was good?
Yeah. Well, I hear it's pretty solid, unlike the actual movie. And they were wondering if we had read it and recommended it. So no, we've not read it.
I didn't even know it existed.
I don't even know if a novelization of that story could save it for me. It's just a lot to handle.
It does not interest me to read it, but there is a bit of me that's like, I would be curious to see how it was handled as a book, and if, I mean, like, the same story can be told in wildly different ways. Mm-hmm. So
Ooh,
there's
Jane.
a part of me that's curious.
Jane Dalton has some trivia for us.
Okay.
Thank you, Jane, for the next
God,
super
Jane's
chat.
always asking the hard stuff.
Indiana Jones trivia. For which film did the crew breed 2,000 rats specifically for the film?
No, I mean, I know. I think it has to be.
Rats? Are
Yeah.
they in Last Crusade?
Mm-hmm.
I do remember it.
Yeah. If it's not that, then I'll be shocked. Like if the crew bred a bunch of rats. And
Why did they breed them specifically for this?
Because they needed. That was like the creepy crawly scene of the film. Mm-hmm. So they needed.
They
a ton
couldn't
of rats.
just do a casting call and go find
the perfect
already
rats
existing
for-
rats that are looking for work.
Yeah.
Come on. Jeez Louise.
Come on, Spielberg.
Classic Spielberg.
Nah, he didn't want to bring in nepotism rats.
Oh my god. That's funny.
If it's
Jane
not
said,
Last
I thought
Crusade-
that was going to be slightly harder.
If it's not okay, thank goodness. I was like, if it wound up being.
Oh, diseases. That's a good point. Rats carry a lot of disease.
Oh yeah.
They were like, these got to be clean rats. We can't drug test every single rat.
If it wound up being Temple of Doom. That was funny.
Oh, okay, real quick. I want to read this from Char P. Thank you for being a Biggs mega fan for 3 months. They said, Molly, do you know about Dungeons and Drag Queens from Dimension 20? I do.
Oh, you do? I didn't know
just
about
found
that.
about it. I found out about it today. I can't talk because Jill texted me the trailer for it, and it looks really
Oh,
cool.
so it's a new thing?
Yes. So it's got Alaska, and it's got Bob the Drag Queen, and a couple other ones that I don't remember by name, but it does look really, really funny. So, yes, I know about it. I don't know how to watch it. I don't know, like, what network it's on. I think it was in the trailer,
D20.
but...
They probably have their own thing. Are they part of College Humor? Because that's Brennan Mulligan's, right? His Critical
Who?
Role in D20. Yeah, Brennan Mulligan is D20, so that might be part of College Humor, but I do not know.
Dropout?
Yeah, that's
Oh.
College Humor.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out, because that looks fun. We're about to actually start a D&D campaign with some of our friends that are way better at like the whole D&D stuff than we are, or
They're
like
not better at it. They're just more
seasoned.
They're well versed. Yeah, well seasoned. Well seasoned.
Well seasoned. They're well done. We're starting that in. I think next week is our Game 0 day.
Oh, is it? I got to start thinking about my character.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna keep my other character. Maybe I'll put a extra twist on it. I got to do some research for that. Oh, okay. I missed this other. This was a follow-up from Darth Nicholas about their previous super chat. It's crazy to think that Karen Travis wrote a few novels for the TV series that would ultimately prompt her to quit writing EU novels entirely, since the Clone Wars take on Mandos were ultimately incompatible with hers.
Yeah, people talking about retcons and stuff, especially retconning Legends stuff. I'm like, you just haven't been around, because George Lucas did not care. Mm-hmm. He retconned.
He did whatever he wanted to do.
It sounds like anything from the Legends books that got brought in was Dave Filoni's doing. Like, he almost tricked George into it, which I'm sure is not the case. I don't think he tricked him, but.
And then Jake, thank you, Jake, for sending in a super chat. Has some more trivia. What's Indy's secretary name in the Last Crusade?
Oh my God, his secretary. I can picture the scene.
Karen.
I have no idea. We're in what, the 40s.
Julie. Margaret.
I like Margaret. Let's go with Margaret.
Yes.
I like that.
I'm pretty sure that's wrong, but
Oh, it's definitely
I don't
wrong.
even remember a secretary from that movie. I remembered the rats. So they did something right by breeding all those new rats.
We gotta watch.
Irene.
It's a good one.
Of course.
Irene.
How did I not know that? Irene. That's a good name. That's someone's, like, crazy aunt's name. They're like, oh boy, Irene's coming to Thanksgiving dinner this
Lord,
year.
Irene coming.
She's bringing her deviled eggs that are always not cooked.
How do you make a not boiled deviled egg?
I don't know, but
Irene,
Irene
how'd
finds
you
a
do
way.
that?
Yeah. She finds a way.
But she did it.
Stephanie Z, thank you for the next one. Speaking of books, have either of you listened to the audiobook of the Legends novel Shadowhunter? It's read by Sam Witwer, and he is just amazing. Sam is probably my favorite audiobook narrator. What?
Yeah, it's the
He
new.
reads books?
It's the new Legends Essential collection they've been doing, and they've been releasing audiobooks alongside of them, and it's a mall book, so Sam Witwer narrated it.
Oh.
I've not listened to it, but I want to.
I would listen to it just to hear him talk as Maul. Anyways. I assume he doesn't do the full-on Maul voice the whole time.
No, I imagine it's normal Sam voice, and then when he's doing Maul dialogue, it's Maul. He probably, he's a very talented voice actor, so he probably does all kinds of voices for different characters.
Scarlet Wolf in the chat said, Molly, I'm an Irene, and I swear I'm not crazy. I'm sorry if I made you feel like I was pointing out all Irenes. That's just... I don't think I know any Irenes.
I don't know why
now
you
I
did that.
do.
Come on, Irene.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's
I
a
was
song.
joking. That's Eileen.
What is it? Eileen.
Yeah. I was making a joke.
Oh. Stop.
What? Touching you?
Don't. I was a big Stewart fan.
Don't.
No.
That's weird. There's a piece with a hole in it, and it goes in the middle here, and then I just block off the hole. So I'm like, why didn't you just make that a normal 1x1 piece?
Now you know there's a little hidden piece in there.
Yeah. Just put a little secret in there.
LOST, thank you for the next one. Alex shows up to your first date ever wearing his finest Jedi robes and calling Molly my lady. Does this alternate universe Alex get a second date?
Who says it's an alternate universe? Big assumption, buddy.
First date ever wearing Jedi robes calling me my lady. No second date. Or you could try to make it up to me by swearing that you're not a complete weirdo. It's more the my lady thing than the robes that would bug me.
I get that. Fortunately, I would not do that. Although, I do have a fun story of, if you watched Explain It to Me, back when we did that, and I'm sure we'll bring it back when Rings of Power is on, because our friend Ashton, who's a huge Lord of the Rings nut...
if they ever make a Buffy spinoff,
yeah, we could do
I'll
that.
be on that so fast.
But Ashton and I were randomly assigned roommates in college, and we both went on Facebook to check each other out. And my profile picture was like me with a lightsaber that I photoshopped and everything. I was very proud of it. And Ashton was like, oh boy.
Going into college with a picture with you as a lightsaber, with a lightsaber.
As a lightsaber. I wanted people to know what I'm about. So Ashton was like, okay, he is a nerd, which he was not. Like, he was a nerd too, so he wasn't bothered by that. But he was like, he's nerdy enough to make that his profile picture. Okay. His profile picture was him dressed up to go to a hymn concert.
Eyeliner,
Yeah, like
black
lots,
t-shirt.
not even just eyeliner, like makeup down his face. I was like, okay, so I just got roomed with like a super goth kid.
Yeah.
Which I like, again, I'm not against that. It was just it seemed like we were gonna be worlds colliding. And then we got into the room and we were like, oh, we like all the same stuff.
Aww. It's funny that it was like that, because I feel like I'm like kind of in the middle of those two nerd personas, the goth kid and the Star Wars nerd now. Oh, what's up, Maddie? He said him, now we're talking.
Yeah, and then Ashton got me into him. We shared our interests.
He got me into it too. He got everyone he could possibly talk to into it.
Every time we go to karaoke, we gotta hear the same hymn song.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
Was it the Wings of a Butterfly song? I remember that one vividly. Yeah. A lot of good ones. Another Darth Nicholas super chat. Thank you so much. Lore question. Does Kix, not to be confused with Nyx, still have his accelerated aging after being released from the stasis pod? Or did being released give him a normal growth rate instead? Or could he live for hundreds of years?
I don't.
What if
see
he like
why.
instantly aged a whole bunch after coming out? That would be sad.
He just did the Last Crusade, just like waste away. I'm gonna assume he still has the accelerated aging.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it'll just start back where it stopped once he went into stasis.
He just didn't age. I don't see any reason why it would have reversed him.
Oh.
Hi, Hilo.
Yeah, I think he would just go on doing the same accelerated aging. The Cali Kid, thank you for another super chat. It's early, but where do you think Star Wars Celebration 26/27 will be held? Hope it's in Anaheim. Also, what's your take on the movie release dates? Okay, so if it's 25, So it'll probably be 27.
Yeah, I think so.
After that, please, anyone at Lucasfilm, if you hear this, you probably have no control over this, so I'm sorry. But still, if you could bring Celebration to Atlanta, I would be forever grateful, and that would just be amazing for us.
We're big enough. We've got Marvel movies filming here.
What is it called? The Georgia Congress Center?
We do have a big convention center.
It's big.
Yeah, it is big.
We could do it. It's bigger than London. I know that.
Yeah. It's big. It's also less expensive than most major cities to be out here, so everyone could fly in. Everyone can get flights here because we have the Delta hub.
Yes.
I think more likely Orlando, but that's what we said earlier before Tokyo was announced, so I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, Atlanta's my top choice. Always.
Uh-huh.
Anaheim, I guess, would be my second choice just because we know so many people out there. It would be easy to see all of our friends in California that way. Chicago would be cool to go back to because I liked that convention center a lot.
I did
and
too.
It'd be cool to get a chance to explore the city some more. Yeah, they won't do Florida again unless DeSantis is done.
Oh, that's true.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough. Yeah.
Steve, that is a good point. I wonder... Oh, Canada. They haven't done one in Canada yet, have they?
I don't think so.
That'd be fun. But yeah, it would be Atlanta, Anaheim, Chicago would be my top 3.
Oh, and our take on the movie release dates.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I did a video about this yesterday, I think. I imagine that's going to change. I don't think we're going to get 2 movies in 2026. Kathleen Kennedy made a big deal about like wanting Star Wars films to be an event again. Mm-hmm. And I think what they have announced on the slate, they sound like event films. The creation of the Jedi Order, what happens after the Skywalker saga, the culmination of the Mandalorian saga. Yeah, like those all sound like big movies to me.
Where did this news come from?
Which news? The 2026 stuff?
Yeah.
Disney released their updated release schedule. And 2026 has May and December 2026 movies for Star Wars.
Do we think it's possible that that was a goof? That was a mistake?
Not
and that
really.
or that maybe because of the writer's strike, one got moved and the other one didn't?
I mean, yeah. I don't think it's a mistake so much. I think it's just... It's kind of like... I have videos scheduled on the channel, and I move them around, and it's kind of arbitrary.
A super old one came out
And
the other day.
I was going to talk about that in a second.
And a lot of people pointed it out.
Uh-huh. Which I did not mean to release. It just happened. But I think that they were like, we're not going to make December 2025, especially with the writer's strike happening. And I'm glad that they're not like, we're going to keep this date and then we're going to rush this film. Like, I don't want them to do that. So they're like, let's move it to May. I kind of think that movie is going to get moved to the December date. And then they're going to keep December 2027 and they'll keep December 2028. That makes more sense to me. But right now, I think basically that's just an acknowledgement of December 2025 is not happening.
Yeah.
I'm expecting another update later. And I don't think I want 2 movies in the same year.
I don't either. It's too rushed. It's a lot of people were saying It feels like The Last Jedi and Solo.
And I agree.
It doesn't give people enough time to properly digest a Star Wars movie before another one comes out.
And especially when you consider that the next 3 movies that we know about, potentially 4 if the Taika movie is whatever's happening with that. If you have a movie come out in May,
Who's that?
yeah, little skeleton, it's Forrestal.
Who?
The skeleton at the beginning of Raiders.
I don't remember him.
Yeah. So if we were to have the Dawn of the Jedi movie come out in May 2026, and then in May or December 2026, 7 months later, they're going to do something completely different in the world of Star Wars. And I'm like worried that they wouldn't market it properly or enough after what happened with Solo.
Yeah.
It's like that would be confusing for people.
Well, Solo
'Cause
was
I
a
have
hard
to-
pitch for a lot of people because it was brand new and it was brand new actors and
But so would this. I mean, not the Dawn of the Jedi movie. Or, sorry, not the New Jedi Order movie, but Dawn of the Jedi would be. So let's say we got the Rey movie, and then in December, it's all new stuff.
Did we get an idea of which one was going to come first?
So
Did they tell us?
Charmin Obaid Chinoy. I've been like really trying to remember her name.
She's doing Rey's movie.
Yes, and she has called it the next Star Wars movie a couple times.
Okay.
That's on Instagram. It's not confirmed.
So it'd
But-
probably be that, Filoni, and then...
I think
Dawn of
it'll
the
be. I think Filoni's a ways off.
Really?
I think so.
That probably means we're gearing up for like 5-6 seasons of Mando, 3 seasons of Ahsoka, which is fine.
But either way, I just think that if you have 2 movies within 7 months of each other, and they're about completely different things, I would hope that they gave themselves more time to properly communicate to the general public what these movies are about. Mm-hmm. Instead of just... Because, like, my parents, every time we go to a Star Wars movie, when I went and saw Rogue One...
Bye, Jane.
Bye, Jane.
She's going to see Little Mermaid.
When I went and saw Rogue One with them, they were like, so this is after Force Awakens? I was like, nope. It's a completely different thing. And it's
Yeah.
to try to get that point across.
I liked Solo.
I like Solo.
I don't think it was just a checklist. I don't think... Like, I don't know. It took me a couple of watches to really appreciate it. But, like, the acting and some of the characters that we got in Solo are some of the best
I love Alden.
new Star Wars performances of... I mean, L3 and Lando in that movie.
Lando's great. I love Alden so
good.
much. He was who I was most worried about in that movie. And walking out of it, I was like, he was perfect. He's exactly what I would have wanted.
Yeah.
Um,
He is the perfect young Han Solo, I
Yeah.
think.
I kind of am like, does do a lot of the stuff where it's just like, here's how he got his blaster, and here's how he got the Falcon, and here's how he did the Kessel Run, and it's like
But-
that all happened in...
Didn't we I mean, I kind of expected that stuff for a movie about a young Han Solo. I mean, it's Disney. You know they're going to
is
do
that?
that stuff.
I don't think it's up to... It's up to whoever's writing the movie. I don't think Disney was like, you have to do these things in this movie.
Probably not, but I just felt like that was a given.
I would love to... Like, there's no boardroom meeting where some old fart is saying, like, I need to see Han Solo do the Kessel Run. Like, he doesn't know.
No.
Like, that's what I'm getting at.
No, it's safe. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
It's Disney, so it's being safe. It's going... What story can we tell about a young Han Solo? How does it tie into the old Han Solo? Let's answer some questions.
Yeah. But I was hoping that they would do some of that stuff and not all of that stuff. I don't know. But I still like the movie.
I mean,
It's a very easy and fun watch.
We got Kira, that was brand new, and now she's a major character in a lot of the comics. Anywho, you're almost done over there, so I'm going to move on. Theranati, thank you for the next one. Hi, Molly and Alex. First time catching a stream live. Happy Pride. Thank you. Disney/Ubisoft write K-Vess as queer? Question mark. I got a vibe. Parentheses or hopeful. I assume the gaming world and fascists in general would lose it. So I kind of got the vibe too, but for me it was more just like kind of judging a book by the cover. I was looking at Kay and I was like, okay, the hair, the jacket, her just like general vibe and like hanging out with the people that she was hanging out with, the droid, being a scoundrel. I was like, it's coming off a little queer to me, but it could be that she's totally straight. I don't know.
I don't think I have the most well-honed gaydar or queerdar. I don't know what. So I'm just kind of like, I see Kay and I'm like, cool, a scoundrel running around. Got a great pet. Like, if it turns out she's queer, I'm going to be like, right on.
Yeah.
If she's straight, I'm like, okay.
We don't know how old she is, which doesn't really matter in how queer she is or not, but
I would guess she's same age as Umberly, who's playing her.
We just like know so little about her.
Yeah.
But it's, I was going to bring up that the actress...
Oh my God. Sometimes I just see like the people who are in Star Wars now, like as starring characters, and it just reminds me of my mortality. Where she was born in the 90s.
Yeah.
She's 5 years younger than we are. It's not like it's that. So she's in her mid-30s.
Okay. She is a queer person. So, yes, that kind of like also points us in that direction, but I think we'll just have to wait and see. I think it would be great to have a main character in a video game. We have Marin. We love Marin. But a main character in a video game it'd be nice to have her be a lady and be queer.
And you also have to acknowledge that Marin is expressly queer in the books.
Right.
Subtly queer in the game.
Barely.
In Fallen Order. Like,
barely.
Yeah. So, to have it overt is a different story.
But yeah, I think that would be great. And yes, the gaming world and the fascists would probably lose it.
They lose their minds over everything, so who cares?
That only gets the game more attention, I think.
Reminder, if you haven't seen the interview clip, someone asked Harrison Ford, what do you think Indiana Jones would think about the punching Nazis debate that's going on today? Which I'm like, I don't know why that's a debate. Of just like, someone just asked, would Indiana Jones punch a Nazi today? And he said Indiana Jones would push people out of the way so that he could punch the Nazi. As well he should.
Yeah.
Good job, Harrison.
Yeah. That's a wild question to ask
I know.
Harrison Ford. Okay, so we're going back to the reviews of Indy for JLC's obligations next super chat. Don't want to burst your hype bubble, but I heard Indiana Jones 5 is going to be the worst Indy movie by early review. So why do you think the writers today couldn't capture the magic like the first three? Those are all in quotations, so I can't tell if they're being facetious or not.
I mean, I have not read any reviews from people I don't know.
I haven't either.
So,
but as far as not being able to capture the magic of the first three, it's the plain and simple fact that we aren't 13 watching this.
I think that is a lot of it. That when you go into an Indiana Jones movie or a Star Wars movie now, it's so hard to live up to back when those movies changed the world, specifically Star Wars. But Indiana Jones, like, people just hadn't seen anything quite like it in the early 80s. But also that was hearkening back to what they grew up with. They were like, oh my gosh, this is like those adventure serials that I watched, except it's really good. Mm-hmm. So now it's like you're following an Indiana Jones formula, which Last Crusade proved it can work. I've been thinking about doing a video of like what is the Indiana Jones formula? Like what's the checklist of things that I want to see in an indie movie? Because I don't think like Temple or Kingdom of the Crystal Skull hit them all. But like we see the end of an adventure at the start that does connect to the rest of it. There's got to be a creepy crawly scene. The end has to go nuts with just supernatural things and faces melting and people decomposing and Sankara stones catching on fire. That's why Temple of Doom, I'm like, it doesn't...
Is there a car chase in everyone? Because we got to see the part of the car chase at Celebration for Indy 5. And that was like an insanely cool, like interestingly shot action scene.
Yeah.
The camera work in that scene was incredible.
Yeah, that was really fun. Last Crusade has a vehicle chase.
Oh, it's a boat, right? Because they're in Venice.
It's got a boat chase. It's got a motorcycle chase. It's got a camel chase. A tank thing. Like, if Zach Burkett is still in the chat, he texted me yesterday and he was like, it is wild how many modes of transportation are in Last Crusade. It's like there's a train, there's cars, there's motorcycles, there's a Zeppelin, there's an airplane, there's a boat, there's camels, there's horses, there's a tank.
Yeah. Yeah. Ice says there is a car chase in each one.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely part of the formula.
I would just go with chase is fine with me. It's got to be some puzzle solving. I don't like. I need to just sit down and be like, what are the things that I expect to see from an indie movie? But the thing is, you went into Raiders not expecting any of that, and so now you have expectations and whatever. And I think that it does. You want to go into Indy 5 and be like, I hope this makes me feel like watching Raiders or Last Crusade, and it's an extra level of like.
You hope it makes you want to watch the first one?
You hope it makes you feel like watching. Like remember...
Feel like you are watching.
Yeah, the first time I saw Last Crusade and it blew me away. Like, that's what you're hoping when you go into Indy 5. Instead of just being like, I hope this is fun. Like, going to watch The Mummy. I didn't go to watch The Mummy thinking, oh, I hope this is as fun as an Indiana Jones movie. I was just like, The Mummy seems neat.
Well, we were young.
And then we saw it, and I was like, wow, what a fun adventure movie. It reminded me of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So people talking about, oh, it didn't capture the magic. It's like, well, I don't know. I think their expectations were too high.
It's the same thing that happens with new movies of any franchise that has been around for that long.
Yeah.
We see it all the time in Star Wars. People
you
are like,
help.
This is garbage compared to blah, blah, blah. And like you said, we haven't read many reviews, but I have seen people saying, oh, the new Indy has too much CGI. It's 2023.
Yeah,
what
like,
do you expect? Every movie has too much CGI. That's just what movies are now.
But I
with
do
the
hope
exception
that they
with
do.
like a couple very few movies. So.
But like I do hope that there are practical stunts in it, because that's part of the magic of the truck chase in Raiders is not like the most epic. It's not a Mission Impossible level stunt, but it's still like that dude went under that truck and then went on top of it and got back. Like, that's a cool stunt.
Yeah,
and
it's ridiculous that people...
I want some practical stunts in there.
It's ridiculous that people expect Mission Impossible level stunt work in every action movie now, because it's making them ridiculous.
But I love it. You got to watch the Mission Impossible.
I wasn't talking about Mission Impossible. I was talking about other movies, thinking that they need to top or be on the same level as Mission Impossible movies.
Honestly, yeah, like these days, I think you can do anything practical, and you can just tell.
Yeah.
That it's the doing it on the practical level is a little bonus value.
All right, I'm gonna put you in the hot seat while I go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Laserbolt, the new D&D movie, was great. And yeah, used both practical and CGI. Dawson Ase, thank you so much for the next super chat. I can't wait to learn what happened to Mutt. I hope he's mentioned, honestly. Like, I don't think he's in the movie. I saw a picture of like the cast at the premiere last night. As far as I saw, Shia LaBeouf was not there, so I don't think he's in the film. But I do think it would be weird if he weren't referenced at all. Like, I don't love Kingdom of the Crystal Skull by any means, but I don't want them to just pretend it didn't exist. I want Indy to still be married to Marion. I want Mutt to just be doing his own thing, and Indy can mention that. Or Helena, his goddaughter. That would be enough for me. I don't really, if Mutt's not in the movie, I'm not going to be annoyed. MC Lego Boy, the short round, Ki-hee Kwan was there and had another like adorable moment with Harrison on the red carpet. I would like to know what short round's been up to. That would be nice. JLC's Obligations, thank you for the next one. What is the most underappreciated moment of the Indy trilogy?
Underappreciated moment?
Yeah.
Probably something from Crystal Skull.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hop on that train and say, to talk about, as far as I know, this is a practical stunt, but I remember watching Crystal Skull for the first time, and the beginning of that movie, I think, is pretty okay. I did not mind the fridge moment, honestly. It's like halfway through, it just starts to lose me. But when they're on the college campus and there is a motorcycle chase where Indy is on the back of Mutt's motorcycle and Russians are chasing them, and someone is in a car and they pull Indy off the motorcycle into the car, and then he kind of fights his way to the other side of the car, and then Mutt pulls his bike back and around, and Harrison or Indy crawls out of the car and gets on Mutt's motorcycle. I was like, that's an Indiana Jones stunt. Like, that's perfect. I loved that.
Yeah.
So there, I think that is a moment from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull that is great and underappreciated. They did say Indy trilogy though.
Oh.
The OT, I guess.
See, I don't remember enough from Temple of Doom or Last Crusade to be able to give my opinion on that, I don't think. Or Raiders. Like, I like those movies. I don't remember them like I remember Star Wars movies.
I feel like every moment of Raiders is well celebrated.
Yeah. That one is pretty well covered by everybody.
I'm trying to think of something from Temple of Doom, because that's my least favorite of the originals.
The musical number.
I like the beginning of Temple of Doom. The musical number I could take or leave. Like, so that's fair, I guess.
I'll say, wait, what was it? Underrated?
Underappreciated moment from the original trilogy.
Moment? I don't know about a moment, but the chick in Temple of Doom is awful and annoying, but she plays awful and annoying to 110%.
I think that's the perfect answer to this question, because Kate Capshaw, it's very clear they went into Temple of Doom and they were like, we can't just do Marion again, so let's do the complete opposite thing. And yeah, Willie Scott is insufferable, and I can't stand listening to her scream constantly, but that's not Kate Capshaw's fault. And she did exactly as she was asked. So that's true.
She put her whole you-know-what into that role.
I think it's very fair to say that Kate Capshaw is underappreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Scarlet Wolf, thank you for the next super chat, but it is blank. I will try to scroll through here real fast and see if there was a question, but while I do that,
spooky spiders.
Mindertron has the next super chat. Thank you for a very generous super chat too. Thank you, Minder. We love your channel. We had to put our kitty to sleep today, and absolutely love seeing Pippin on your streams. Give him a scritch for us. Aww. I'm so sorry, Mindertron. That's the worst. That is
sorry.
The absolute worst thing, saying goodbye to a pet. Before we sign off, I will go find Pippin and drag him onto the stream.
My sister just had to do that with one of her kitties that she's had for a very long time. So that was sad. We had to do that with my cat Guinness a couple years ago. It never gets easier. You don't think about like how many pets you're gonna have in your lifetime until like you have to do that for one of them. You have to put one of them down, or one of them starts to get really sick, and then you just realize like, oh, these animals are only in our lives for a short time, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I agree. It never gets easier. But Scarlet Wolf, I found your message. Thank you so much. I just finished Heir to the Empire. What do you think about a movie set on Kashyyyk? I'd be down. I love Kashyyyk.
I brought this up when we were filming the Q&A, so it'll be up on Saturday. But I started talking about how the Dawn of the Jedi, is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's what they're, for lack of a better term, while we don't have a title.
Yeah, the first movie of the timeline, it would be cool if they went to Kashyyyk in that one while they're trying to figure out like what the Force is, what it means to different species, and just how the Wookiees connect to all living things on Kashyyyk. I think it would be cool for the people who are soon to be known as the Jedi to like talk to other species about how they connect to the Force.
Yeah. We were basically talking about what could the Dawn of the Jedi movie be like, and it would be really cool if we saw them, the first people who realized that the Force is a thing and they can control it. But what if they did some planet hopping and they were like, hi Wookiees, do you know what the Force is? And they're like, well, we talk to our trees, and they're like, yep, that's the Force. And just seeing all the different ways that people experience the Force and communicate with it and harmonize with it, I think it would be really interesting. And then to figure out through all those different ways, like what's the common denominator? How are we, even though they won't call it Jedi at first, but like, what do we call ourselves, and how do we all move forward? What's the best way to do this? I think that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Skywalker, thank you for the next super chat. I'm like 10 minutes behind, but I just learned you guys are like him. Just when I thought I couldn't love you guys more, you name dropped my favorite band. Aw.
Nice. Well, you can thank Ashton for that.
Yeah, thank Ashton for getting us into him. We have caught up. I'm going to run find Pippin and force him to be on camera.
Okay. He's probably...
I don't know. He's probably on the couch.
Oh, be careful. He's asleep on the couch down there. He was being really cute yesterday. Both Pippin and Hilo were, because it was storming for the most part yesterday, and both of them kind of don't like it when it storms. Pippin hates it, and he was just like asleep all day on the couch next to me. Hilo just barks at thunder, but because it stormed all day yesterday and Pippin was like stressed out the whole time, normally it's like clockwork. He will start meowing at like 4 until 5, which is when we feed him dinner. But yesterday he was like quiet as a mouse because he was so freaked out by the thunderstorms. Here he is. Found him. Oh. He's such a little baby.
He's tired. He's like, what?
He's like,
He
what?
was just sleeping, and I picked him up.
He likes to be held, though. I am grateful for that. Some cats, no matter how much you pick them up as a kitten, they don't like to be held, but just Pippin.
My little man.
He's your little man. Alex was not a cat person when we first got together, and for a long time after that. Mostly because, like, my cat, Guinness, was kind of finicky around other people.
I just never met a cat that liked me.
Yeah.
But Pippin was, like, all over me from day one, so I was like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Now I like kitties.
Even though I was the one that saved him from outside and brought him in and was like, look what I found. He loves him way more.
Well, I needed it because we had just said goodbye to Biggs. We had, not to be all sad again, but like we had just had to put our last dog to sleep.
Yeah. Which we think Biggs had seen him in the neighborhood before, like hiding in a gutter. Because he would always sniff like the same storm drain area, and we thought maybe there was a kitten in there. Turns out it was probably him. Anyways, we're gonna go cook dinner.
Yeah, we gotta go eat.
Yes, Pippin was a stray.
Pippin needs to go finish his nap.
Pippin needs to go back to sleep. Actually, no, he's very good at supervising us when we cook in case we drop anything.
That's true.
Or leave anything unattended. That's going to be it for us, guys. Next week, we will have been coming off hot of the new indie movie, I think.
It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Never mind.
Next week we'll be here.
Next week, we'll be doing nothing exciting except
this.
2 weeks. We'll have lots to say about indie. But until then, keep an eye on our Twitter for whenever we're going to do more Jedi Survivor streams, because I want to
be doing one
Tuesday for sure. I want to pick back up on those. But yeah, that's it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who sent in super chats. We couldn't do any of these live streams without you guys, so we really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.